In a world not so different from our own, a digital pulse flatlined, and the heartbeat of global finance simply stopped. They called it the Great Zeroing. One moment, numbers danced on screens, promising futures and fortunes. The next, a cascade of zeros, a silent digital apocalypse. The money we had trusted, the very concept of it, evaporated into the thin, cold air. I remember standing before an ATM, its screen a blank, mocking void. Useless banknotes, now just colorful paper, skittered across deserted streets like autumn leaves, a somber confetti for a funeral we never knew we were attending. The world we built on credit and code had crumbled, leaving behind a bewildered humanity, adrift in a sea of worthlessness. Confusion soured into desperation as the realization dawned. We were all bankrupt, together. In the ashes of the old world, a new one, raw and primitive, began to take shape. Bartering became the new language of survival. A loaf of bread for a handful of batteries, a warm coat for a few hours of manual labor. Society fractured and reformed into a mosaic of local markets and makeshift communities, each with its own currency of tangible goods and services. For me, a former financial analyst who once navigated the complexities of global markets, this new reality was a harsh demotion. My skills, once prized and highly compensated, were now as useless as the dead currency I used to trade. I watched as carpenters, farmers, and electricians became the new royalty, their practical abilities the bedrock of this fledgling society. I was a ghost from a forgotten era, my expertise a forgotten tongue. The fragility of our new existence was thrown into sharp relief when my neighbor, Mrs. Gable, an elderly woman with kind eyes and a small herb garden, fell gravely ill. A severe respiratory infection had taken hold, and the simple herbal remedies we had were not enough. She needed a specific, potent antibiotic, a relic from the age of medicine, now rarer than gold. Word on the street was that a man named Silas, a former logistics mogul, had foreseen the collapse and amassed a formidable stockpile of medical supplies. He ruled his fortified warehouse with an iron fist, his hoarded resources a scepter of power, doling out life and death on a whim. For the desperate, Silas's fortress was both a beacon of hope and a monument to despair. Desperation is a powerful catalyst. Watching Mrs. Gable weaken, I knew I couldn't trade for the medicine with my empty hands. But I still had my mind. My old life had taught me to see patterns, to analyze systems, and to find the exploitable cracks. I spent days observing Silas's compound from a distance, mapping guard patrols, delivery schedules, and power grid fluctuations. I didn't see walls and fences. I saw data points and variables. I discovered a blind spot in their surveillance, a brief recurring glitch in their generator-powered security system. It was a small window of vulnerability, but it was enough. My worthless skills had found a new currency: information. The negotiation was the most intense trade of my life. I met Silas not with a plea, but with a proposition. I laid out the flaw in his security, a precise, calculated breakdown of how his fortress could be breached. His arrogance warred with a flicker of fear in his eyes. He saw the truth in my analysis. I wasn't bartering for medicine. I was trading his security for a life. He agreed. The exchange was tense, a vial of precious antibiotics for a slip of paper containing my notes. That night, as I administered the medicine to Mrs. Gable, watching the fever slowly begin to recede, a profound understanding washed over me. In the quiet aftermath, as Mrs. Gable began her slow recovery, I saw my reflection not as a failed analyst, but as a problem solver, a protector. My value wasn't tied to a bank account or a market index. It was measured in the tangible difference I could make in the application of my intellect for the good of my community. I had lost a fortune but found my worth. In a world stripped bare of its financial illusions, we were all learning a new, more profound arithmetic: the value of a human life, the strength of a community, and the true meaning of wealth. My new ledger wasn't balanced with numbers, but with lives saved and futures secured.